Meena Malik is actually participating in this event for the first time. I want to welcome her very warmly. She's an Oxford-trained poet, writer, and editor based in Lahore, Pakistan. She co-founded the People Press, an independent publishing house, in 2023, and is the prose editor of the Aleph Review, which is the premier literary magazine from Pakistan. I will request Meena to please take the screen and share her poems with us. Thank you, Meena, for being here.
Thank you so much, Waqar Sahab. This is an absolute honor. I've enjoyed everybody's work so much, and I'm delighted to be here. Thank you for having me. I'll be reading 3 poems today, which are from a forthcoming book of poems called Rogue Planet, which is out later in the year, inshallah. So the first one is called the Andromeda Paradox. If I were here and you were running, the sky would be different. This is because of light, of relativity, of motion, changing time. I wonder what Andromeda thought, chained to a rock, blasted night and day with salt water and Cetus's bad breath when Perseus came along, him flying, her fixed. Did the seconds shift? The light glancing off the water and his hair and her arms, different for them both. Did she see a prince? Did he see a wife? The first time we met, I was sitting and you walked in the door. The second one is called I Follow My Heart. I follow my heart into unknown places. She believes in things I don't. I love her, so I won't tell her otherwise. She charges into empty rooms, putting jugs of flowers on tables, bread, candles, says, look, we are able to bloom here. This could be a forest. These lights could be stars. Look, the sunset is a coral smear of wonder. We could pitch a tent here. Look, the babies are small forever. The lake is full, even when it isn't. I follow my heart into strange places. She's easily lured, but I don't tell her that. Instead, we just stop pretending we're sleeping and write poems in bed. I let her give her number to mustachioed strangers and put disco bulbs in the lamps. She still thinks basements are for storage, so I just close the door and say yes. No ghosts down there. I love her, so I won't tell her otherwise. And this third one is called Galileo. Well, shit, Galileo thought, smoothing a hand over his beard to himself. Look where external thoughts got him. Of course, the sun was trouble. He should have known. But what does one do, earthbound with knowledge, watching the apples fall, stars move, the moon breathe? No, he thought, locked in with his books and the ticking clock of his mind. No, the gravity of the situation was clear. Once you've seen the sun, you can't look away. Once you eat the apple, what can the Pope do, the Father do, the witness of your eyes do, except speak? Thank you so much.
We move on to another poet now, and this poet is also from Pakistan, Sufia Humayun. She's an academic, and her short stories, essays, research papers, and poetry have been published in various journals. I would invite Sufia Humayun to please come to the screen and share her poems with us. Most welcome, Sufia.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to participate. And it's always wonder to read my poems in such a prestigious forum. So my first poem is gonna be I Hate People with Ugly Toes. I hate people with ugly toes. Hate is a strong word. Dislike sounds more appropriate. They need upkeeping and attention. Not much. Not mine. Mine are pretty ones. Maybe which is why I think what I think. ugly people have ugly toes. But then I think people with ugly toes should have pretty hands too. Long nails or short doesn't matter. Nice and tidy is what matters. Mine aren't nice and tidy. Broken nails and a cut mark in the middle of the left hand. I remember in my teens massaging lotion on the heel hand to wipe off the mark. It never went off, but started looking better than the other one, the ugly, unshapen dark one. But then it's what is distant which catches the attention, what is close and secure surpasses one. I hate people who do that. Why doesn't hate sound inappropriate here? More than the ones with ugly hands and ugly toes. My next home is the frames. The frames, would it be like I would crumble into sand grains emanating from within or shooting upward? My work intact, multiplying, off by a scent like dandelion, tops, till I meet the morai, the wall, frames, oh, the frames and frames. How ordinary do they look in the shop, in houses, stationed over side table, besides the champagne glass, cold beads form on the outside, as white lassi loses its coldness. They dwell in a void like a whisper, obscure, unrecognized, midst of laughters, the existence of frames. But here, each frame tells a different story of struggles, internal strife, and the sweat, different from the cool champagne glass and the smiles that are adorned with the wrinkles. And snow is in the hair from outside and from within before you know it. Piece by piece, they weave their scattered thoughts, fitting together a mosaic, fragment by fragment of the big picture, just the faces that matters, embellishing the wall while their works rest in peace, chronicle of all the toils, rest in peace, or split up and dissect word by word, stacked inside locked cabinet. Stacked inside locked cabinets, and the cabinets are ordered in hierarchy. Thank you so much.
We will move on to our next poet, um, Menka Shivdasani, and again, a very well regarded, widely published poet from India. She's based in Mumbai, editor and translator, is the author of 5 poetry collections, and most recently, The Seven Queens Sindhi Folk Tales Retold in English Verse. I love folk tales, by the way, and so this is great. Um, and she is co-translator of Freedom and Fishes, an anthology of Sindhi partition poetry. Very important works here, but there's a lot more, and you'll find that in the link in chat. If you go there, you'll get the full biography. Menka, so privileged, so honored to have you here. Please take the screen.
Thank you so much, Vakas, and congratulations for keeping 100,000 Poets for Change readings going on year after year. It's especially important for me to be part of this because for the last 2 years, I have been unable to organize 100,000 Poets for Change festivals with Kitab Khana. So it's something that I've been doing for 13 years, and the last 2 years it's just not been possible. So thank you for having me here. I'm going to read 2 poems. One was published recently in the Remembrance Anthology, just released by Renard Press in the UK. And it's about the terror attack that happened recently, Pelgam, April 22nd, where tourists were killed on the basis of their religion. And this is called Besaran. I remember the meadow in Himalayan embrace, serrated wilderness of pine, the expanse of grass and snow-kissed breeze. What lingered, though, was the vendor with craggy eyes, chasing us across the ground with coarse shawls woven on the needle points of rage, the warp and weft of a tattered life, distended on a hungry loom. You people buy from big shops, he snarled. But I was a visitor just for the day, for the adventure of a pony ride, and to marvel at wild strawberries and forget-me-nots, unwilling to return with a stranger's poverty upon my back. It has been years since then, but when the gunshots rang, I wondered if he or those like him were there with their carefully woven shawls to wrap the fallen bodies of those who might have refused their wares. And I, who can recite neither the Kalima nor the Bhagavad Gita, have lost my tongue as lightning sears my back. And the second poem is called Rupture. It's from my new manuscript, Return to the Stones. This is the first time I'm reading it. And I'd actually forgotten I'd written it, but I was going through what I should read today, and I thought I would brave this one. Rupture. Do not tell me of winds across the border, left behind when the land was gouged. The restless leaves on this side of the fence blind me as they fly in dusty skies. Here is a temple, there a mosque, refracted through the atheist's eye. The goddess left the altar when the banyan fell, her eyes inscrutable as bark, and the birds flew away from broken nests, leaving behind a torn wing or two. There were some who did not get away. Tell me the stories of little heartbeats stilled, of the howling wind and twigs that shriveled on the forest floor, of anthills abandoned and fires that never stopped burning. What is the rage that fuels the flames? Is it the voice that howls in broken skin?
Our next poet is from Poland, a cherished friend, a fine, fine poet. I'm so glad that she's able to join us. Alicia Maria Kuberska, a multiple award-winning Polish poet, novelist, journalist, editor, translator. She does it all. She's edited volumes and anthologies, both Polish and in English. Her poems have been published in numerous anthologies and magazines in Poland and abroad. There's a lot more to the biography. Again, go to the link and you'll get it. Alicia, a very, very cordial welcome to you. Please take the screen.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for invitation. I am happy that I can be with you and listen to your wonderful poetry. I would like to read one short poem because I noticed that we are short of time. And first I will read in Polish and later the same poem in English. Nieskończoność. Jestem odrobiną światła zamkniętą w materii, ożywionym słowem, pamięcią zapisaną w genach. Wspinam się po drzewie wiadomości dobrego i złego. Mam wolną wolę. Podążam ku słońcu jak winogrono. Mogę wydać słodkie owoce, gdy zdecyduję się powędrować po oświetlonych konarach, lub cierpkie, gdy wybiorę cienistą stronę. Czerpię soki z ziemi i rozkwitam. Los obdarował mnie hojnie, choć każdym darem tylko jeden raz. Zmierzam ku przemijaniu, ale jestem wdzięczna za życie, za świadomość istnienia. Infinity. I'm fragment of light enclosed in matter, a world brought to life, a memory inscribed in my gains. Each day I climb like a vine along the branches of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, advancing step by step. I possess free will, I can choose the sunlight path or the shaded one, bear fruits that are sweet or bitter. I'm grateful for the gift of life and awareness. With hope, I look towards the future, journeying towards infinity. Thank you.
How to prepare fish to suit your taste. Just pepper and salt with a bit of lemon relish, fried 5 minutes each side in butter or olive oil, then baked in the oven to make sure the skin remains crisp, but the meat juicy and soft. It is not alive, of course, and cannot feel what it is to be fried, nor the baking afterwards at 425 degrees Fahrenheit. But what exquisite taste, especially when paired with a paste of avocado, garlic, and chives. The delights we extract from the pains of others, whether we let them expire gasping for breath, or slap them on stone to put them out of it, or batter them with a paddle, or indeed perform the ikijime maneuver if we are kind. For the kindest way is to kill quickly, humanely. You can do it yourself. Stab a spike right through the fish's brain and follow up immediately with bleeding, for the heart still beats, by cutting through the gills. Now perforate the blood vessel below its tail and holding it upside down, shake it while hosing it liberally with water at the same time. So it is completely drained and cleansed of blood. The fish is now dead, but its muscles don't know that yet. And you don't want them to know, for that lack of knowledge will maintain the illusion of life in the flesh a little longer. For this, the spinal cord needs to be snapped and immobilized. There are many ways to do this. Hacking through it and cutting off the head is the more usual method. But if you value taste and care about not prolonging the misery of the creature, while keeping its flesh in the best possible state of freshness at the same time, a sharp wire run through the spinal cord to the brain and pulled back and forth a couple of times. The fish may thrash and twitch as this happens, but don't worry about this. It is already brain dead and doesn't feel a thing. Should do the trick. You have now effectively disabled the spine from sending the signal of expiration to the muscles, and it is your palate that will be the beneficiary when this delicacy is dressed and cooked just the way you wish, and you place the first piece as you place the first piece of it on your tongue, letting the juices in your mouth gather in its choicest flavors. All these refinements of execution we have developed in the long history of human evolution for the taste on our tongue. And so we move on. Thank you.